Boy, sure is boring around here. Wait, what's that noise?
My boy, my boy, my boy, my boy, my boy, my boy, my boy.
Arzette and the Jewel of Faramore is a new interactive animated adventure made by CD-i software and published by Limited Run Games. In this nostalgic platformer we play as Princess Arzette, who must explore the Kingdom of Faramore, slay fearsome foes, acquire powerful items, discover secrets, assist colorful characters and defeat the evil Damiano. And should we get the mandatory meme jokes out of the way? Yeah, I think I did right at the start, right? Indeed, if you were alive sometime in the 2010s and you were on the internet, then yes, the Zelda CD-i memes were everywhere, not to mention an incredible number of YouTube poop videos that were going around. But how many people actually sat down and played these games? You know, Wand of Gamelon or Faces of Evil. We sure saw the reviews, right? We saw people getting mad at those games, but how many people actually sat down and played them? Yeah, I don't think many. You know, it's the CD-i. Not many people want to remember it. So, if you ever wondered what those games played like, perhaps also wish that they were made to be slightly less frustrating than, you know, because you don't want to be like those people getting mad, then perhaps Arzette, the Jewel of Faramore, would be right up your alley. More like up your alley. So yes, CD-i software, because Philips CD-i wanted to bring back that same excitement, those very same animated awkward cutscenes and passable gameplay. How does it fare? Let's take a look. Again, classic 2D side-scrolling platformer. You defeat enemies, you collect new powers, solve little side quests and unlock new areas. And as a bonus, you enjoy a lot of terribly cheesy cutscenes in between collecting pieces of the jewels, unlocking pillars, completing side quests for people that want earrings, that want a book, that want a calendar. They want all sorts of stuff and you'll have to get it from them, of course.
Isn't the world just so bleak?
I wouldn't say that.
It is! Oh, I resolve to see all colors, not just what these puny eyes can show me. I will alchemize these shrimp goggles. You'll see. Or rather, I'll see.
You move from left to right in most scenes. Some of them you move from up to down or from down to up even. But that, yeah, the movement is definitely classic. Enemies are of basically two types, I would say. Those that shoot and those that don't. And also those that die in one hit and those that require a couple hits to actually be defeated. So maybe 4 types of enemies. Don't worry, because as much as many enemies will shoot at you, you can actually defend yourself, because pretty soon Arzette will pick up what is called the Ring of Protection, so you just hold LB to guard and you'll be fine. And basically the gameplay, I would describe it as following a linear path that the developers laid out for you to collect power-ups, unlock areas, go back, unlock new areas, collect a new power-up, go back, unlock new areas, and so on and so forth, just like Wand of Gamelon. For example, around Faramore you will find barriers of a certain color, for example red or blue, and those will require a gun that shoots color pellets and is actually powered by souls. Yeah, don't ask. At first you will have only the color red, so you go back and you find all those barriers you've missed, shoot them, get access to new areas. After a while you will get the color blue. So once you get the color blue, go back to the previous levels, smash those blue barriers, and then after a bit you get the color purple. So go back again. Yeah, you know how it goes. There is indeed a lot of backtracking involved, which might make sense with the fact that most levels are not very huge, just made up of 4 or 5 different scenes. So yeah, you will be traveling between those levels quite a bit. If you play the Zelda games, you might know that the bosses in those games are mostly a joke. They just require you to learn a very precise pattern and that's it. They will repeat the same pattern over and over. There's no like second phase bosses or anything like that. And Arzette is basically the same. Learn the pattern and you will get by with no trouble. I think I was killed maybe 1 time at the first boss, All the others were, yeah, smooth sailing. They're designed to not give you any trouble at all. There are also bonus levels, where you can mostly collect rupees, which of course you'll need to buy bombs, lantern oil, rope, all the usual stuff. Those are about finding the exit in time, smash all the targets, collect all the rupees, and sometimes close all the doors, which you might remember was the main mechanic of the gameplay in Hotel Mario. So this is another nice little homage to those classic Philips CD-i Nintendo games. And it also has the same controls and sound effects of the original. Oh boy! The excitement.
No.
But let's get to the positives, because of course these developers know Wand of Gamelon very well, and it shows. So they definitely did not want to bring you any of the frustrations of the original game, so there's a few quality of life improvements, we could call them. For example, enemies won't drain you of all your life in an instant, because you actually have a few seconds of respite between each hit, so you won't have that kind of problem. Also, even if you have unlimited lives, so dying, not a big deal. You'll just restart, not even from the start of the level, but from the scene you just entered. So, it's fine, no problem at all. Also, at any time now you can decide to save and quit the map. So basically just leave a level instantly, you don't need to go back to the map point. Which is of course useful because again there's a lot of backtracking involved. So, once you've done what you need in the level you just decided to go back to, click start, save and quit the map, you're fine. As you can see graphically, Arzette is definitely designed to revoke, again, a kind of 1992-1993 platformer game made on a limited 16-bit console such as the classic Philips CD-i. So sprites are made from a very specific and limited color palette, the backgrounds are mostly static, and the cutscenes are, well, not really classic. I would say they're definitely of that kind of crazy animation that we've all grown to love.
It's good to be with a fellow member of high society.
Indubitably. Would you mind stepping aside?
Regrettably, my considerable hunger must be satiated prior to discussing any moving arrangements. Alas, I won't accept commoner food. I require fine dining. Perhaps situated under a forest rock? You understand,
Clear as mud.
So, garish colors, deranged faces, and so many reaction images that you won't know what to do with them. What perhaps might be slightly disappointing, especially if you remember Wand of Gamelon, are probably the backgrounds. Because yeah, in the old Philips game, they were pretty nice, honestly, the best part probably of the game. Here are often quite simple, not very imaginative, quite basic. That's a bit of a shame, honestly, because that's one thing they could have improved upon, or at least, go back to that same style. Soundtrack, on the other hand, tasty. I wish I could have it in a sandwich. Boy, I'm so hungry, I could eat an octorok. Ugh. Okay, there's an interesting problem with Arzette. Because of course, it's not inspired to the classic Mario games, right? It's not inspired to Sonic, it's not inspired to any of the platformers that many gamers might remember and might have good memories about. No, Arzette is inspired to a game that's often called one of the worst games, especially one of the worst games with a Nintendo property attached to it. So, how can you recommend it? Who do I recommend it to? Because again, the enjoyment that you're gonna get out of Arzette, that's almost a rhyme, is going to be very much dependent on how familiar you are with the Zelda CD-i gameplay and also the memes. So, if you love them, well, what are you even waiting for? That's a game for you! Hurry up! Get it! Shut up! Oh no, I should shut up, sorry.
Keep going, boy, you're doing real well!
But let's just pretend for a moment you are not familiar with this, with the old Zelda CD-i games, and you don't know the memes, or perhaps you're familiar and you hate them. Would you want to get Arzette the Jewel of Faramore? Probably not. Because, yeah, compared, for example, to another 2D platformer adventure like, I don't know, Shantae and the Pirate's Curse, Arzette is definitely not the ultra-polished platformer that you might think. But it was never meant to be. So you can't fault it for being something that it never wanted to be and something that it wasn't designed to. So it works best as a nostalgic trip to a sort of alternate timeline, I guess. Because again, if you're looking for a good modern 2D platformer, there are definitely better choices out there. Especially at the price mark that Arzette is being sold at. So, that leaves me in a difficult position. Because again, if I was to, remove my nostalgia glasses, what do I say about Arzette?
It's awful!
I mean, it's definitely playable. It's fine. Again, they fixed most of the problems with the original, and also, you know, there are no control issues at all. You don't have to use any of the old Philips CD-i controllers, which were definitely awful. So, yes, all the issues that plagued the original games have been, for the most part, really solved. So, Arzette does offer a good amount of platforming fun for its 10 hours of playtime, more or less. It will definitely, make you laugh a couple times, even if you're not familiar with the memes, because the cutscenes are quite funny. And overall, it doesn't really overstay its welcome. It does what it says on the tin. It does remind us of a classic early 90s platformer. But could I recommend it to anyone not familiar at all with the classic CD-i memes and games? Well, after I scrubbed all the floors in Hyrule, then we'll talk about it. Voxel Smash awards Arzette and the Jewel of Faramore a 7.5 out of 10. This is a nostalgic trip that you might want to take if you really want to go back to a particular alternate timeline made of weird animated cutscenes and, entertaining gameplay. But for anyone wanting a real solid 2D action adventure, well, perhaps better look somewhere else.